All right, folks, Jake here with North Idaho Archery. I'm here with Mike Edgehouse of Primal Edge Pursuits and Cut Right Mobile. He is the founder of both of those. He's a good friend of mine. We wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about meat care. September's coming up. Hunting season is going to be hot this year. It's an El Nino year, leaning towards super El Nino, which means a long, hot, dry fall. We get a lot of questions about meat care. We get a lot of questions about what to do with the meat after you kill it on a hot day, things like that. So I want Mike to go into that with you guys and kind of talk to you about his meat prep and how he cares for his animal in the field. He is very experienced killing animals in the heat. He just killed one in August. We all know is very, very, very warm, and that meat is still very good. So I want him to talk about that. Go ahead, Mike.
First off, I did not kill it. My son killed it.
Okay.
I did not notch a tag. That was my son's tag. So first thing you want to do when you get your animal down, whether it be August, September, as Jake said, it's going to be hot as heck out this year. Hide off or guts out, period. You need to cool that meat. Okay, so 3 tenets that we always live by as a butcher, as an app developer that has created an app that teaches people how to field dress and butcher. Cool, clean, and dry. Let's deal with the cool first. Hide off, guts out, whatever you're going to do. I'm not a gutter. I don't gut the animal. Whatever you're gonna do to cool that meat is imperative. When it's really hot out, hind quarter, roll it over if possible and get that other hind quarter. The majority of meat on any elk, since elk season's coming up, and deer and bear is the hind quarter. Those are going to spoil the fastest. Spoil occurs from the bone outward, not out towards the bone. So we want to get those off and cooled as fast as possible. There is significantly more meat on the hind than the front.
Can I cut you off and ask you a question? How long do I have after I shoot an animal, say on an 85-degree day? If I am tracking that animal and maybe it's not a great shot, do I have 30 minutes? Do I have 3 hours? What kind of timeline are we looking at before we really start looking at spoilage?
It's a great question. First, don't take the shot on an extremely hot day unless you know it's going to be a good shot. I know there's target panic and everything else, but do your best to make a lethal shot. Make a lethal shot. All right. We can talk about, what happens to the animal after the shot, the adrenaline dump, everything. It's always better meat if you make a clean kill shot right away. But if you don't, and I've had experience with this with one of my sons, we pushed it, took about an hour and a half to find that animal. I'm fortunate, having killed a bunch of animals and been a butcher for many years, it takes me about 45 minutes to field dress an animal.
Okay.
So it took us from the time that animal was shot, it ran, we searched for it, we found it. It was a warm day, it was a high heat warning day, although we were at 5:30 in the morning, so it was only about 75 to 85 degrees, an hour and a half. Took an hour and a half to find the animal and then 40 minutes to dress the animal. We lost 0. We've never lost meat in the field.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that that's great. We had to do a bunch of things once we got to that animal to take care of it, right? We had to expose the bone on the hind quarter. By exposing the bone, you have your quad muscle and you have your hamstrings on your own body. We all know where those are. Mm-hmm. The animals have those too. There's a seam between them. Cut down that seam, expose the bone, let the heat escape those muscles, right?
So this is important, and I think that you guys should understand this. Elk's body temperature runs a lot higher than humans. So their internal body temperature, if I understand, is around 104 to 106. Is that correct, Mike?
That's right.
Okay. So even on a 90-degree day, getting that animal opened up, getting those hindquarters off, in a 90-degree heat, you're still cooling that animal down. Obviously, you want to get it into shade, but just by getting those popped open, you're going to get that animal cooled down quickly. By allowing it to stay, what Mike is trying to say here, from a layman's point of view, is that body temperature inside that elk is so hot, it's going to start rotting almost immediately if you don't get those joints popped open. So the first thing you're going to do is don't go to the guts, go to the hindquarters.
And here's the deal. A lot of people, when I say, hey, make that cut, expose that bone, it doesn't matter where you cut that animal. There are better places and worse places to cut it. A lot of people in the field that want these high quality steaks are like, oh, I don't know where to cut, I'm just not gonna cut it. Okay, here's the deal. You don't cut, you lose all that meat. You do cut, let's say you cut through the sirloin tip or a different cut. It doesn't ruin the meat. It just changes the recipe you're going to make.
Okay.
Maybe instead of having 1 pound nice steaks, you have smaller steak medallions. The whole goal is to fill that freezer with high quality organic protein, right?
Right.
So if you don't cut the meat out on a hot day and expose that bone and dissipate that heat by any means possible, you're going to lose meat. Would you rather have steak bites or no steak at all?
Yeah,
that's
I'd
a
rather eat
really
the meat.
important question to ask people.
Okay, so we've got the meat opened up, we've got it cooled down.
Yep.
But it is 85 degrees out, it's dusty, it's dirty. I just opened it up, and for better or worse, I got dirt all over my meat.
Game bags, airflow, cool it down, get it in your cooler, okay? Bring it back to your house, your garage, your camp, wherever it's gonna be. Maybe you hike it back to camp and you're hanging because you're camping multiple days. I've had this scenario as well. This right here, this is from Winco. This is white distilled vinegar.
Okay.
It should be in your camp. It's inevitable. We all say we want to get as clean a quarters as possible. You're going to have grass.
Right.
You're going to get a little bit of dirt. It's inevitable, especially if you're solo, right? There's no way you can get it without a speck of dirt or anything on it, without somebody helping you.
Sure.
Wet a washcloth or a terry cloth rag, wipe down your meat. This distilled white vinegar does several things. It's antibacterial, so it'll kill the bacteria on the top, and you're wiping down and you're removing that grass, that dirt, etc. that's on the meat. Put it back in a clean game bag, turn the game bag inside out, do whatever you need to do, hang it without a game bag. It's going to allow it to age, it's not going to affect the rind that's formed or anything else. It's only a positive.
Okay.
A lot of people will say 50% white vinegar, 50% water. That's fine as well. Or straight vinegar is absolutely
I see
fine
this
as well.
is pretty low acidity. Is that important?
I don't think that matters. I just use straight white vinegar. That's kind of been the butcher's secret for a long time.
Okay, so you've got another secret to deal with one of the hidden things that we forget about as hunters, and that's bees. What do you do to deal with bees?
Okay, so I reached out to a professor at WSU 2 years ago because I had an experience where my son killed an elk and I got stung 17 times.
That's
It
fun.
was horrible. He had to pack out his entire elk on his own while I stumbled. It took an hour to walk like 800 yards back to the truck. I was almost like in a bad way. So I asked him what the deal is. So those ground hornets or those ground wasps, they go underground to spend winter. When we get a snowfall, that snow melts and it floods them out of their thing and kills a lot of those animals. Well, if we don't get a big snowfall, a la last year, year prior, those animals are actually able to overwinter. So you're not dealing with 1-year-old yellow jackets and wasps, you're dealing with 2-year-old yellow jackets and wasps.
So we got small hawks.
Yes, you have sparrows that have stingers on them that
Okay.
are coming after you. Black pepper. I swear by this stuff. Any longtime hunter is going to swear by this stuff. There's actually a chemical, and the name has escaped me right now, in black pepper that deters flies, wasps, hornets, everything from your meat. The best thing about this, it's not like salt. You know from cooking meat, when you put salt on your steaks, it dries it out, it pulls water out, etc. Black pepper does not do that.
Okay.
So what I do, any animal, when it's warm, cut, expose tissue, inevitably, we call them meat bees, they're gonna come out after you. Take black pepper, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I just dump it all over the meat.
And that gets wiped off pretty easily with that vinegar.
It gets wiped off easily with the vinegar, but if I'm hanging it out of the game bags back at camp, I don't bother taking it off because it's going to continue to deter flies and bees. You could even get your meat clean, wipe it off with vinegar, get it clean hanging, and then sprinkle more on it back at camp so the meat bees don't come and steal your precious meat, because that's what they're doing. They're eating that meat, right? It comes off extremely easy with the rind. When you age your meat, you just cut that rind off and the pepper comes off the top. You can use the edge of your knife and just brush it off. It's not gonna flavor the meat. It's not gonna do anything except deter those animals. You might ask, where in the heck am I supposed to dump it? Dump it on the muscles. right?
Okay.
If you got a bunch of blood pooling in that pelvic cavity from cutting that joint out and you sever that femoral artery, which everyone does, and thinks it's the guts and it pools with blood, dump it in the blood. When you spread open the ribs to dig into the heart, bees are going to swarm in there if they're around. Dump a boatload right in there in that blood right away. And you will literally, it's not like a mass exodus, but you will see bees start to fly out of that area as opposed to dive bomb the blood to eat.
Okay, so we've got rid of the bees. I've got my animal cut up. I'm cooled it down. I got back to camp and I just put it in a cooler of ice water.
Yeah.
Is that good?
No.
Okay.
It's pretty bad. Okay, here's a question. You go to Egger's Meats in North Spokane, best butcher shop in Spokane. Allegedly, I can attest for that.
Okay.
You buy a $50 or $45 a pound ribeye.
Yep.
You have to drive from Spokane back to Coeur d'Alene. You need to keep it cool. Are you going to put it in your cooler of ice water?
Well, probably not.
No. Well, why not?
Well, because it's going to be soggy and
It's
gross.
going to be soggy and gross. So why would you do it with your frickin' animal that you spent $2,000 on a bow, $1,500 on a gun, countless hours of practice, arrows, camo, everything else? Why would you take your animal that is full of delicious organic meat and dump it in a cooler of ice water and let it soak?
Well, I guess maybe I just don't know how to actually handle my meat, unfortunately. I think there might be a lot of that out there. What would you suggest I do then to get it out of the field if you say I've got a 6-hour drive and all I've got is a cooler and I've got ice in the cooler? How do I keep that meat dry? What do you suggest?
It's great. So one thing everybody should have in their pack, I'm sure you do, is contractor bags.
Sure.
Right? So you take that contractor bag out when you're field dressing your animal, you slice it open, now you have this huge mat. You don't need to spend $150 on an expensive tarp. Get a couple contractor bags, open them so you could set your meat on them before you put them in the game bags. Take one of those contractor tarps. Your cooler's loaded with ice, you gave me that information. Put the contractor bag on top of the ice. Block ice is preferred in a cooler because it takes longer to actually melt.
Sure.
And it's still going to cool it. So you have block ice. Put the contractor bag as a barrier between the block ice and the meat. Just set it on top and then set the meat on top of it. Listen, don't put your meat in a contractor bag. It's not going to breathe.
Sure.
You don't want to put it in the contractor bag, on top of the contractor bag. You're literally making a barrier between the ice and the meat that's up here.
Okay.
That coolness is still going to get to the meat. Your cooler should be pre-cooled. That's another thing. Don't kill an animal and then go get ice for the cooler. Put ice in your freaking cooler before you go for your hunt. That cooler is going to cool down to 34 degrees. If you put that animal in there, it's still hot. Now the inside of your cooler is going to be 90 degrees. Any ice you put in there, it's going to melt right away. Put ice in your cooler before you get to your hunt. If you're only doing a day hunt, fill your ice with cooler the night before. And then the cooler's going to be actually cool enough if you only have an hour and a half drive. You can actually dump that ice out, throw those quarters in, close it up. The cooler's going to be 34 degrees and it'll be fine for the couple-hour drive home. But if you have that 6-hour drive, that barrier between the meat and the ice is key to keep it dry. Remember, cool, clean, and dry. We got clean with the white vinegar. We got cool by getting it off of the animal right away and getting it on some level of ice, and dry with that barrier. You do those three things, you are going to have the best possible meat from your animal that you harvest that you can.
Okay. I think that's wonderful information. We jest a little bit about meat in ice water because we see it all the time. Year after year after year, we get people to say, deer meat tastes like crap, a mature bull tastes like crap, things like that. And what's happening is mismanagement of the meat. People don't know how to handle it correctly. Oftentimes they're putting it in a cooler with ice water. Well, what's happening is that ice water is not cold enough to kill that bacteria, all that elk piss that inevitably, if you didn't wear rubber gloves and you touched your meat, that's now in the ice water.
Yep.
Now it's completely saturated. That elk, just every piece of bacteria that was on that elk just went into the water, and now every piece of meat is touched by that bacteria and those smells and that dirt and everything else. So this is very important to new hunters, to experienced hunters. We see this year after year. Obviously, as a shop owner, I get a lot of questions about this. I've helped Mike. I've gone and butchered some elk with him, and I've seen a lot of poor meat handling practices. We've gone and we've butchered elk that were hanging in someone's shop in 60, 70 degree weather for 3 or 4 days. That elk was sour. It was rotten. I was there. I volunteered to help him, but I tell you, I didn't want to. That elk was disgusting. I wouldn't feed it to my family.
Either.
And so you do spend a lot of money on your equipment. Every year you spend money on fuel, gas, food, weapons, arrows, bullets, tags, shoes, boots, hunting clothes. And then oftentimes the animal gets forgot about. And so to us, that's kind of a disgrace to the animal, right? We do all this for the animal, we do it for the meat. And yeah, we're not saving money hunting elk. We're not saving money hunting deer. Unfortunately, those days are gone. But you still need to cherish that meat and treat it, I think, with some level of respect. Yeah. And so that's why we want to make this video informational, help you guys out, understand how to handle your meat. If you're doing it, you're not here locally, you can't hire Mike to butcher it for you. Why don't you do a little plug for your app and kind of explain to people how that works and how they can use it.
So I developed this thing called the Cut Right mobile app. It's an app that all the videos are downloadable to your phone. It walks through step-by-step process for field dressing your animal. A lot of people don't want to do the gutless method because they get scared of finding that ball joint on the pelvis. They're going to cut the guts, etc. Detailed step-by-step instructions. And say, who's this guy? He's just a butcher. My background is that I'm actually a PhD biologist. I'm in academia. I teach, so I teach on the actual app. So I tell you how to get your animal out of the field, elk, deer, and bear so far on the app. And then maybe you don't want to spend money on me. I'm a pretty white glove service. Butchers run between $400 and $700 to butcher an elk. For $15 a year, I will give you step-by-step instruction. You can pick the cut you want to learn how to butcher off of your hind quarter, or you could just watch the full hind quarter, front quarter, backstrap tutorials on the app, along with some recipes. So that's Cut Right mobile app. It's on the App Store. It's on the Google Play Store. It will save you a lot of money if you want to learn how to butcher it yourself. And quite honestly, butchering is one of my livelihoods. I love butchering. It's my art form. But I feel every responsible sportsman should know how to butcher their game. Whether they have time to or not, that's a completely different discussion.
Sure.
But knowing how to butcher your game, maybe you have kids, that's generational information. Passing it down to your kids so they can always be self-sufficient is super important. If you've never done it before, the Cut Right mobile app's a great resource to help you.
Check out that app. If you are local to North Idaho, if you haven't been to North Idaho Archery, we now have a walk-in meat cooler. It is a 44-foot reefer trailer. We can hang up to 74 elk. We keep that temperature controlled, humidity controlled, so you're gonna get a really nice dry rind on that elk. You're gonna get a good age on it. So if you do butcher your own, come hang it with us if you don't have a place to hang. Keeping it in a fridge, sitting on one side, just soaking in its own juices, you're gonna lose meat. You're not gonna get the flavor that you want. So a good dry rind, a good dry aged elk is important. So we do have that for you guys. If you go to northidahoarchery208.com, you can check out our meat storage portion on there. We also have an online shop on there. Check that out. Let us know what you guys think about this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to Mike on Instagram. You could also reach out to us on Instagram. We're on all the different social media platforms, whether we like to or not. It's not our forte, but we are on there and we will respond to you. Appreciate everyone. Good luck this season. We hope you learned something. Appreciate you.